I've just started a TQUK course, level 2, in understanding nutrition and health. And here is what I understood from the first unit after following the course. Just a couple of tips, in addition to the MY Academy training courses that I have been following. Well, the interesting bit is that I had no idea that in 1 of 5 a day, we include beans and pulses in the UK. Actually, I should start with the beginning. In the UK, the nutrition is guided by Eating Well policy, and the British Nutritional Foundation has a website where they go through the points of what is a healthy diet today. We can find there that they consider fruits and vegetables a very important aspect of what we do every day, and a large quantity of our diet should be that. Then the interesting bit for me is that they consider that potatoes, wheats, starches in general should be a rather high level of ingredients in our diet. And then you have the proteins, either from meats or dairy or beans and pulses, vegetarian, and then you have the fats and oils. This is completely different to other food plates that are promoted in other parts of the world. And for meat, for example, I've noticed that there are quite a few of the grains and starches elements which I know my body reacts to despite the fact that I'm not a celiac. So I was quite surprised to see that in the fruits and vegetables, they include beans and pulses. That's 3 full spoons of chickpeas and beans. Another bit that surprised me terribly in this recommendation is the fact that they consider the fruits and vegetables either fresh, frozen, or canned. Now, the interesting bit in that is I am a little bit confused because when it comes to canned items, there's so many that have preservatives in them. So it would be interesting to know how those preservatives actually impact the nutrients of the item that's frozen or the item that is canned. And furthermore, canned items, a lot of them have aluminium, which means heavy metals contamination. Then there's another aspect that I would like to think about, which is the canned foods normally tend to lose in their nutrients because the longer we leave between the moment of picking up items and the moment we consume them, the less nutrients like vitamin C are going to be included. We know that when we pick a fruit or when we collect a vegetable, that starts losing from the nutrients. Certain nutrients, not all of them in fairness, but certain nutrients will not have the same value as when you actually pick them. So the longer you keep them in the storage, the longer you keep them in containers, the longer the nutrients will decrease. So it's really interesting to see that they are considered in the parts of fruits and vegetables. And I couldn't find in the initial and at this point, so in the initial information and at this point, I couldn't find any information saying that, well, actually, we discourage you to use canned elements. They also talk about the omega-3 importance and the fact that in Britain it's considered enough to eat fish twice a week in 140 grams. Footnote, I have to say here that's cooked weight. So when you buy the fish in 200 grams, when you cook it, it will have a different cook weight depending on what you cook it in. So what I would like to challenge here, and I'm quite curious to find out, is how are we looking at this omega 3 content? Because omega 3 is actually oxidizing. So that means that as soon as the fish is opened, or if we leave the item opened, it starts losing its value. It starts losing the quantity of omega 3. And if we fry it, for example, then we add omega 6, especially if we fry it in oil, we add omega 6. So if you were thinking that your fish and chips are giving you the omega 3 that you're looking for, think again, because the content of omega 3 from the fish and cod does really not have enough omega 3, or any other white fish, as a matter of fact. So the content from that, with the content of the omega-6 of the oils or the frying element, that come to balance itself. So that difference between them would actually be in the case that omega-6 would be higher. So when we eat fish and chips, we're not really eating a healthy meal. And And therefore, actually, if we look at some of the reports, we'll find that in the UK there is a problem with omega-3 because raw fish is not so popular. And that was another element that surprised me. Out of the two portions of 140 grams cooked fish, they recommend at least one of them to be oily fish like salmon, mackerel, and trout. That was surprising for me, and sardines. The best way to preserve the omega-3 in them is, of course, to buy it fresh, and then to try to oven roast it immediately, not storing it in the fridge for too long, because, like I said, the omega-3 is oxidizing. And we do have international organization that control the omega-3 aspect. So that was really surprising for me to find these. And also, the 6 to 8 glasses, they're rated as liquid. That was a really big surprise for me because though they rate that as being a healthy diet, they include the coffee, the teas, the juices up to 150 milliliters of smoothies per day. So a large glass would have like 300 milliliters if you don't put ice in it. So 150 milliliters is considered in 6 to 8 glasses of liquid a day. But the interesting bit is that both tea and coffee are actually dehydrating you, and any other drinks, soft drinks, are actually detrimental to you because of the sugar level. So it's quite surprising for me that we still consider 6 to 8 liquid cups per day, and that's a large container of 300 milliliters, to include coffee and tea. And we do have to read this careful because if we look into it in detail, we realize that we are recommended 220 milligrams of caffeine maximum per day. So all this over coughing that we're doing is not part of a healthy lifestyle. So when we look at 6 to 8 glasses per day, it's not really encouraged for you to drink too much coffee and too much teas. And furthermore, as I've been challenging, my diet with some kidney stones throughout the years, the urologists are recommending you to drink 2.5 liters a day, which is approximately 6 cups, right? Six glasses, 6 to 7 glasses a day. So I always counted 6 to 8 glasses of water a day, and then everything else on the top when it comes to kidney health. Anyway, overall, it's an interesting journey for me, and I hope I'm going to learn more and more and share with you. If you want to look at the Eating Well chart, well, here it is. You can find more links and hopefully useful information in the description of this video. And remember, if you like what I'm doing, to subscribe, like, share, and give me your feedback. Thank you.